Hello and welcome to the video for Monday, October 26th, After Effects. Let you guys in from the waiting room. Hello.
Hello.
Morning.
Hello.
How you doing
Finally
today?
a video that works.
Yay, Spike, we can see you. Yay.
Hi.
Hey, Kim, how are you?
I'm tired.
Yeah, too much late night fun with the game?
Yeah. I finished Borderlands 3 at least.
Yay.
After who knows how long.
I guess it doesn't really matter. It's all about the journey, right?
Yeah, it was fun.
That's cool.
Oh my gosh, I really want to replay Portal 1 and 2, but like I'd had to downgrade my computer because Catalina, it doesn't run 32-bit applications anymore.
Oh, really?
So yeah, that really sucks. You can't play there's like a bunch of games people can't play anymore because they updated their computers.
Oh, that sucks. Yeah, you should do some kind of a dual operating system or something so you can play both.
Yeah, I know. I get it.
Wow. Yeah, now I hear you though. I like fun games. I like a lot of old games. They're cool. Well, let me go ahead and yeah. Gabe says he misses his Atari Pitfall. Yeah, I had an Amiga computer a million years ago that was super fun with some really old 8-bit graphics, but that's kind of before most of your times. Let me go ahead and put you guys in the attendance and then we will get started. So let me see what I got here. Close this, and then we got to go to Don't Tell Me here and here. Okay. Okay. The class website and then the attendance. All right. Getting that taken care of. And then next we have to check in and see who's here. Okay. So Yuri, are you have you created a presentation to do for today?
Me and Jackson are still working on our presentation. It's just taking a little longer than we would have liked.
Okay, so what's your ETA on finishing that?
We're trying to finish it by the week, but it might be 2 weeks. It's only because it's a hard time planning everything with some actors we needed.
Okay. All right.
It's just that.
Okay, so we'll just wait on that. And I think my apologies, but I think I put your name URI instead of YURI on the website. So, but I'll change that.
It's okay. It's all a nickname, so it doesn't really matter to me. Okay.
All right. Well, what I would like to do today, we usually do some tutorials, and what I would like to do today is do a tutorial, but first we're going to do this tutorial together, and then I want you guys to take this method that we learn and then do it on your own on a video that you download. And so what we're going to make is something called a cinemagraph. Do you guys, have you heard of cinemagraphs before, anybody?
I forgot what they were.
Yeah, kind of an alien being there, right? Okay, well, so let me share my screen. And then we'll take a look at cinemagraphs. Once you see them, you guys will be like, oh yeah, I didn't know those were called cinemagraphs. Anyway, so from the class website, I'm gonna click on this link here, open this in a new tab. These are cinemagraphs. Now, you might consider them a form of animated GIF or GIF, which in a sense they are, but they have an official name, which is cinemagraph. And what's different about them versus like just an animated GIF is that generally there's only a small portion of the image being animated. I'll see if I can blow this up a little bit so we can look in a little closer. So, you know, you can see here that the leaves are what's falling. Here it's just the sparklers on top of her head. Here, his hand is moving just a little bit, and then there's the reflection on the glass of the, you know, the city going by or nature, whatever, and also on the mirror and down here. Let's see here. Oh yeah, this one's really good because it's so subtle. You just see her hair blowing, right? And then here, there's the little hair blowing and some, looks like she's pulling a daisy apart or something like that. So, you know, this is essentially what a cinematograph is. Let me go to the chat here. Looks like someone said so. Let's see. Let's see. All right. So is it kind of animation video with still photo equals cinematograph within a still photo? Yeah. So what it is it's a still photo. Well, okay. Let me rephrase that. To make a you have to make a cinematograph from a video. So what happens is you basically take a video and you make a copy of that video and put it on the layer above it, and you make that a freeze frame so that, you know, one frame of the video is just frozen in time. Then you basically use a digital paintbrush to paint a hole in that freeze frame, which becomes a window. It's like a little mask. And what you see through that hole is the actual video happening underneath. And so what that does is it freezes everything on the top layer except for the hole. And then you see the what's beneath there. So in this example here, where the little bunny's on the table, everything else is frozen except for a hole is cut out right here where the bunny is, and then we see the bunny moving around, right? Okay, so that's what a cinematograph is. Now, we're gonna do one, and believe it or not, of all places where we're gonna do it in Photoshop, because believe it or not, Photoshop can work with video in a limited capacity. So I need you guys to do a couple of things. First, I need you to download this video. Let me see, somebody just wrote something here. Let's see, where a GIF is more of a short clip of a video. Yeah, so yes, that's exactly right. A GIF is either a short clip of a video or it's even an animation that you export into the GIF format. And usually there's more than one thing moving. You know, it's basically just a short part of an animation or a video of some type. But a cinematograph is actually a video where, you know, most of a frame has been freeze framed, so it looks like a still photograph, and then just part of it looks like it's animated or looks like moving video, and that's because of, like I said, the holes that are cut out. So what I need you guys to do is, let me go back to the website. Okay, first of all, you need to go to the class website and you need to download this video file. It's this one right here, light beer pour stock video. Just click free download and get this video. All right. Now, while you guys are doing that, I'm going to jump over here into Photoshop and finish what I was doing so that I can demo this to you guys. And I think I have to get a really big section of this because so much of this bottle moves around. Okay, so let's see. Let me hit play here. Yeah, that works. Okay, so then hit this again. Yeah. Okay. I'm just, while you guys are getting that video, I'm just playing with my little cinematograph here. Okay. All right, so I'll just save this and then open a new copy of it. Save as desktop, and we'll call this cinematograph.psd. Save. Okay, so once you've downloaded that video, what you want to do next is go into Photoshop and go File, Open, locate that video, and it starts with the word light, L-I-G-H-T, I think, because it says light beer or something like that. Where are you? Here it is. Light beer pouring from beer bottle. Go ahead and open that up from Photoshop, of all things. Now, there's two ways that you can do this today, or I guess in general. One is I made a video here, which you can go back and reference if you like. And the only unfortunate thing about this video is I'm using a different piece of a video clip to do the demo, but it's the same principle. Basically, there used to be this video clip of water pouring into a coffee cup. And so I made this little video tutorial using that. And then the clip was no longer available and I lost my copy. So now I'm using the beer, pouring the beer. So it's the same principle outlined in this. And so if you want to go back after we do this together and watch this little video, it'll teach you the principles, right? But I also made I just made like a step list of all the little steps here, and I'm going to put that on the website in just a sec. So you guys can also follow those steps too. So let me do this. Let me move this over here. And let's see. It says now, Gabe asked, can this be done in After Effects as well? That's a good question, Gabe. I would assume so. In fact, I'm pretty certain it could be based on the technology that we're using. But of course, you can also place this cinematograph that you make in Photoshop into After Effects. You can import it in. So it's sort of, it doesn't matter, but I think you probably can make it there. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up to the top of my list of steps here, and we're going to look at what to do. So it says first open file in Photoshop. So that's what we've done here. In fact, I think what I'll do is I'll put you guys over here, and then I'll move this Photoshop window over. Come on, Photoshop, stop sucking. Okay, I'll move Photoshop window over. Let's see, maybe like this. And then I'll pull this. Let's see. Just trying to get it so we can see everything. I'll do the best I can do. All right, here we go. Looks like we got a bunch of stuff there. Okay, great. So you open this. Now what you can do is, if you're not aware of it, Photoshop has a timeline in it. And you can make limited animations like, animate GIFs and stuff in Photoshop. But you can also work with video, which is insane, right? Now, once you open this up, it should open your timeline down here. If it doesn't, you can go under Window and go down here to Timeline and click on that, and it should open the timeline. Now, there's a little playback head here, just like in After Effects or any animation program, and you can hit your space bar, and it should play the video. And unfortunately, this video is not great, so we're not going to make a perfect animatic here, or sorry, cinematograph, but you will learn the process of how to make one, right? Okay, so you can see it's just, the basically the pouring of the beer, right? Now, grab your playback head and drag back to the beginning of the timeline there. All right, now next, it says move the playback head to where you want the endpoint to be and drag the front of the video to the playback head. Okay, so what you have to do is, now remember, the idea, I should tell you the idea behind this, what we're trying to make. What we're trying to make is we're trying to freeze the frame of the glass and the bottle. And then, we're gonna make a copy of the video, and we're gonna put it on top of this layer of the video, and we're gonna freeze the glass and the bottle, and then we're gonna cut a hole where the pour is happening, the pour between the glass and the bottle, right? And then what you'll see is this frozen bottle top and the glass, and then you'll see the pour animating, right? Now it's not gonna be perfect because the person holding this moves the bottle all over the place, so it's actually gonna be pretty imperfect, but you'll get the idea, right? Now, so what you need to do is grab this playback head and move it manually over until they start pouring, and you want to pull it over until they get a solid pour, like right about here, which looks like it's around 12 frames there. You want a solid pour, which is like where, this is a really solid stream there, right? Now, once you get that, take your mouse and click it on the front of the video clip, click and hold, and then drag that front over until it snaps to the timeline. Now, after you do it, it's going to look like it snaps back in place, but it actually didn't. What you just did was you set an in point, okay? And in video, an in point is where you want to start, and an out point is where you want to leave, right? So what we just did was we basically just cut off the first part of the video that had the guy bringing the bottle in and starting to pour. And now it starts with our big pour here. In fact, you can grab the playback head and you can drag back to the beginning, and now you can see it's starting at the pour, right? Now, for the next step, you want to do the same kind of thing, but for the out point, all right? And so what you do now is grab that playback head and just move it forward a few frames, you know, until you get a good point, which might be a good out point. And for me, it looks like this 200 is going to be a decent out point. Now, like I said, I'll keep, you know, mentioning this over time. It's not going to be a great cinematograph because the bottle moves all over the place. But move your playback head up to about 2 frames. Now, grab the end of your timeline, and it looks like, let me move this over here. Your timeline can be resized down here at the bottom. There's a little slider. And if you move that slider to the left, you can bring your timeline in so you can see the whole thing in your window, right? Now, what you want to do is grab the very end of your video, click on it, and drag that so it snaps to the playback head, right? Now, once you do that, you can use this little slider at the bottom, and I would recommend you do this and slide it over so that, you know, this little clip of video, it looks like a really big one because we're going to do some things in here, and it will help if you got a bunch of room there. Now, if you drag this back to the beginning and hit your space bar, you'll see that sure enough, there's that pour happening, and it's happening in a limited amount of space, right? It's not, you know, he's moving the bottle, but it's not like going to the left and right and everything. So this is the area that we want to create our cinematograph in. Okay, so let's see. So we did the in point, and we did the out point. It should say out. Okay, now it says expand your view of the video by using the slider at the bottom. Okay, that's us clicking on the slider and moving it over. Now it says drag the video group layer onto the duplication button in the layers panel. Okay, let's see. All right, we're gonna go back to Photoshop here. All right, now in Photoshop, you can take your playback head and drag it back to the beginning of the video. Now open up your layers panel, which is over here on the right. Now you're gonna see something called video group 1 and then layer 1 underneath that. What you wanna do is click on this thing which says video group 1. You wanna click on that layer and you wanna drag it down on top of the little plus symbol at the bottom of the layer stack. That is a duplication process. So you click that, and now it makes a brand new layer on top of video group 1 called video group 1 copy. And it puts that copy layer of the video on top of your original copy of the video. So the one on top down here is like this one, it's the copy. Okay, so now it says drag playback head to the end of the video. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is click on the playback head and drag it down here to the end of the video. Okay, now it says move the second layer, and I mean the bottom layer here, to the right so that it starts where the first video stops at the playback head. Okay, I'm gonna close up my layers palette so you guys can see this. And what you wanna do is click on the second strip of video, click and hold it and drag it over so the front of the video starts right where the playback head stops. So that would be, let's see, right at the end of this video here, and then like that, right? Let me see. Okay. All right, so now we have like this clip is starting, and then where it stops, this clip starts, right? Okay, now it says, drag the front end of the second layer, drag the front end of the second layer, that's the bottom layer, about halfway down to the right of the top layer. Now what they mean by that is, click on the front of this bottom layer of video and drag it to the left so that it is about halfway down the stretch from the top layer. So in other words, come down to around, you know, 1 second here. It doesn't have to be perfect, just drag it down, right? Okay, now drag the end of the second clip to the left so it ends where the layer above it ends. Okay, so now what you wanna do, and you can grab your little slider down here and move it if you need to make these smaller so you can see them. Grab the end of the second clip, the bottom clip, and drag it down so that it ends when the first clip ends. Okay, so you'll end up with a top layer that goes all the way across like that, and a bottom layer that's only half of that span. Okay, now move the playback head to where the second layer begins. All right. So we're going to grab this playback head and move it down here to right where the second layer begins. Open the disclosure triangle on the top layer and click the stopwatch next to opacity. All right, so this is like After Effects. You open this disclosure triangle, you'll see that there are stopwatches just like in After Effects. And we're going to click the stopwatch to the left of the word opacity. And sure enough, it's going to make a keyframe, an opacity keyframe. Now, take the playback head. Let's see, blah, 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 blah. Okay, hold on a second. Where was I? Oh, there we go. Close up, okay. Drag the playback head to the right a bit, click on the empty diamond shape to make a new opacity keyframe, and then drag the opacity in the layer palette to 0. Okay, so next what we're gonna do, grab your playback head and just move it to the right a little bit. It actually doesn't matter where you move it, it just needs to be the right a little bit. Now, come over here to the left, find this empty diamond shape, and click in the empty diamond shape, which of course will make a new keyframe. That's how it works in After Effects, right? All right, after you've done that, grab your playback head down to the end of the layer, right? Grab the diamond and drag it over so that it ends up at the end of the layer too. So it should look kind of like mine, where the playback head isn't quite at the end. It's just kind of right where it naturally stops. And then the diamond shape is there as well. Now at this point, what you want to do is open up your layers palette, find the opacity slider, which is this word opacity right here, click on the drop-down menu and move that slider all the way to the left to 0. Now, what have we done? We've done just like in After Effects. This is like After Effects Lite, right? We made an opacity keyframe, which was when the opacity was at 100%, which means it's completely opaque. You can see everything. We made a new keyframe and dragged it to the end. And then there, when it was there, we slid the opacity down to 0. Now, what that does, just like in After Effects, is it between, over this 1 second or however long this is, it basically takes the opacity and makes it go from completely opaque to completely transparent over this phrase here, over this time period. Okay, so that's what we've got. Okay, boom, boom, boom. Okay, now, okay, got that. Now, take playback head back to the beginning and click in the gray area to deselect everything. Okay, so what you want to do now is grab your playback head and drag it back to the beginning of the timeline. You want to, one other thing you want to do here is click on the disclosure triangle to close up your video group 1 layer, because we don't need that open anymore. And then click anywhere down here in the gray area to deselect everything. So you don't want any of these layers selected, you want to deselect everything. All right, now this next thing is a command that we're going to enter via the keyboard. And it's going to be slightly different for Mac users and PC users. And it's like a crazy command. You have to use like 4 fingers to do it, right? But this is what it is right over here. You can see on the right-hand side of my screen. For PC users, you're going to hold down your Control key, your Option key, which might be, I think it's Alt for you guys, and then your Shift key. You're going to hold all 3 of those down, probably with your left hand if you're right-handed. And then with your right hand, you're going to hit the letter E. And what it should do is throw a new layer up on top of everything. If you're on a Macintosh, it's going to be Command, Option, Shift, and then E. And I'll show you, I have a Macintosh, so we'll see that here. So here I am, I'm holding down my Command key, my Option key, my Shift key, and then I hit the letter E, and you see it drops a new layer on there. So once again, this should probably say Alt, and then we'll say Option for Mac, and then Shift, and then hit the letter E. Also, they basically all are getting hit at once. And now you have a new layer up there. Okay. Now you can close your layers palette and then grab this little slider at the bottom and move it over until you can see the end of that top layer, that purple layer. Now you want to grab the end of that and you want to move it over so that it, all 3 of these layers are the same length. Okay, so you're just grabbing it and moving over. By the way, I do this exact process in the video that's on the website. So if you're just watching and then you want a refresher, you can can watch the video, and I'm also going to post this list of steps. Okay, so let's see where we are. Okay, so it says what it says is this creates a freeze frame layer on the top. So what it essentially did was it took the very first frame of this movie, and it copied it and it put it on the top layer, but it just left the first frame there over the entire movie. Now you can test this out by grabbing your playback head and dragging it over the movie, and all you see is one frame that's not moving, even though we know for a fact that there's 2 frames of video down here. One, of course, the bottom one is only becomes visible like from the halfway point over to the end. The second, what's now the second layer, starts to become transparent halfway through, and it shows the very bottom layer, right? Okay, so that's where we are. We've got our freeze frame, right? All right, now it says bring the playback head back to the beginning of the movie. So that's what we do here. And it says use the magnifying glass to zoom in on the pore. Okay, so to zoom in on the pore basically means click on the magnifying glass and zoom in here on this area where things are being poured. Okay. All right, and we're almost done here. The fun part is the painting, which comes next, right? All right, now it says the next step is to create a layer mask on the top layer. So let me show you how that works. Basically what you do, open up your layer palette again. You click on this very top layer here, right? Which is, it's probably called layer 2 or something like that. And then you come down here to the bottom of your layers palette and you click on this little icon. It looks like a rectangle with a hole cut out of it. It's called a layer mask, add layer mask. You click on that, okay? And that gives you this weird icon here. Now what this is gonna allow you to do is use your paintbrush to cut a hole in this freeze frame so we can see the video underneath, okay? So make your layer mask. You can then close this window up a little bit. All right, now it says, come over here to the bottom left of your Photoshop screen and make sure that black is in the foreground color. You'll have 2 color chips at the bottom here. And you can move them around by clicking on this little arrow tool here. You want to move it so that black is this one right here. It's the top left one. You don't want the black to be down there. You want it to be in the front, okay? Okay, black is what's called a foreground color, right? Now, once you've got that, you want to click on your paintbrush tool, which is this guy up here. And you want to resize your paintbrush so that you can paint in the whole, the pore, right? Now, to resize your paintbrush in Photoshop, find the letter P on your keyboard, as in Paul, and to the right of that is what's called a hard bracket button. And if you click on the button immediately to the right of the P, it will make your brush smaller. I'll see if I can show you. It will make your brush smaller, like my brush is getting smaller. If you click on the button to the right of the letter P, in other words, the right angle bracket, it will make your brush bigger. Now, what you want is you want a brush that's big enough to paint over this pore, but not so big that it'll eat up your whole, bottle and everything like that. So this size brush right here is pretty good for me. I can do the whole pore, right? Okay, now, in order to be able to see what we're painting, there's a special key on your keyboard that you have to hit. And what it is, and I'm not sure if this is different on the PC because I can only see my Mac keyboard here, but there's something called the slash key. On the Macintosh, it's right underneath the delete key, all right? And so, hopefully all keyboards are pretty similar nowadays. So you should find your delete key and then look right underneath it, and there should be this thing called the slash key. On mine, it's got the straight up pipe and then a little slash going this way. Go ahead and press that button once, the little slash key. Now, okay, now, when you take your brush and you paint on this, you should see this pink area. Let me go ahead and show you. Or I guess it's like sort of an orangey pink area, right? And what you want to do is you want to paint over the pore. And what you're actually doing when you're painting is you're cutting a hole in the freeze frame, okay? So everywhere where that orange color is, there's going to be a hole, right? Now, because this pour kind of goes all over the place, you kind of have to make your hole pretty big. I know it's not an ideal situation. I'm just going to go a little nuts here and make it so that this covers this entire area here, so that, you know, no matter how much he moves this stupid bottle, I should theoretically get the pour showing through. Okay. Now, once you've made your selection like this, and I'm going to be even more, I'm going to choose an even bigger area, right? In fact, I think I'm just going to go nuts because I got nothing to lose but time, right? Okay. Now, normally you would make a much smaller version of this, but he's moving this bottle all over the place, right? Okay, so now I've cut a hole in, which is going to allow for all of this movement around of the bottle and the pour, right? And I'll still miss some stuff because when he moves the bottle away, I won't be able to see that, right? Now, if you want to get rid of the orangey pink area, click on that slash button, which is right underneath the delete key again. Okay, click on that again, and now that disappears. Now, we have cut a hole in there. So remember, the top is a freeze frame. We cut a hole in, so now when we hit the play button, we'll see everything else frozen, but where I cut that hole, we'll see the video from underneath, right? So you hit your space bar, and there it is. Now, mine is not great, and if yours is not great, don't worry, because it's not your fault. It's a kind of a crappy video, but you see the idea, which is that, you know, it's just keeping that pour in line, right? Now, my pour is not as bad as I thought it was. In other words, it doesn't go all the way out to the right and left. Now, if I want to go back and change this, this is how I do it. You know, I can play it a couple times to see how it looks. And I can see that what I really want to do is, you know, remove a lot of this pour over here on the left and the right, so that I don't get this extra thing here. Now, what you can do is click on that slash button again, so you see your pour there. When you paint with the black in front, it cuts a hole. When you paint with a white in front, it basically recreates the mask, the pixels that were there before. So you're getting rid of the hole. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flop these by this little arrow here, go to my white, and now I'm going to go in here and I'm going to try and get rid of some of this extra stuff on the edges here, because it really, I don't feel like it was doing me any favors. It was making it really obvious that there was a change in that area there. Now I can click on my slash key again to get rid of that pink stuff. Take this back to the beginning, hit my space bar. And now, you know, it's better. Like I said, it's not, you can see right here that, you know, clearly there's some stuff going on there that, you know, that could be repaired. And you know what, just for grins, I'll get rid of that stuff too, and we'll just see how good we can make it, right? So basically, there's this little U shape here I need to get rid of. I'm probably going to lose a little bit of my pour, but that's fine. Okay, so once again, I hit my slash key. Once again, I have the white. Now I can change the size of my brush by hitting the key to the right of the P and making it smaller. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to try and make a smaller U shape around here, so I can get rid of some of that junk that is clearly jumping up in my video. Okay, so this kind of thing, just get rid of some of the junk. And like I said, some of my pour is probably going to disappear, but you know, you try to find a happy medium between too much and not enough, right? Okay, well, once again, we do the slash key, and then we hit the play button. Right, and so that's what's happening. Now, once again, as I've said many times, it's not going to be a perfect pour. It looks like I want to bring back just a little bit of this down here at the bottom. So I'm going to go back to my black, and I'm just going to paint in just a little more of this at the bottom, because I'm kind of missing that stuff there. And then I'll call that good. Let's see.
I have a question.
Yeah.
What if you paint in more of the flat area of the bottle itself with the beer to show the effect that it's actually doing in the...
Oh, you mean what if you just were painting in this area down here?
Yeah, more expanded out at that
Yeah.
area that you said to
That's
show, to show the effect that it is moving that a little bit to.
Yeah, that's perfectly valid. And like I said, this is not a great video to use. It's really just a training video to get the idea. But
Okay.
you're completely welcome to do that, Rodney. Any part of this that you want to experiment with and reveal via your mask, you can.
Okay.
Now, I've done the best that I could do with this limited video, you know what I mean? And it looks okay. It's not going to win me any awards, right? But this is essentially it. Let's see. Now, what you can do is click on this sprocket here down in the timeline, and then click loop playback, close it up, and then hit your space button or your play button, or hit your space bar. And this is essentially your cinematograph, right? Now, I can zoom out on this. It'll look better if I'm a little further away. And you know, once again, it's kind of like in those old 1950s movies where they had the spaceships and you could see the fishing line that the spaceship was on. You can see, you know, the messiness here where it's not very well done, but it does illustrate the point, which is it looks like a still photo with some part of it moving, and that's what a cinematograph is, right? Okay, and then I'll go ahead and stop this by clicking on my stop button, right? And you can just save this. I believe you just export it into a GIF format. Let's see. I want to see if it'll give me that format as yeah, GIF. So let me go to my desktop and I'll call this beer.gif. It's save. See what happens. Save. Okay, I guess it's just thinking. And then after it saves it on the desktop, I'll open that up. Okay, I'm just going to leave all the defaults here because I don't know what the heck what would change there. Okay, and now I'll go to my desktop.
I have a saying, Greg.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I'm so happy you taught us this that I'm gonna give everybody all gifs.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, so there it is. You save it on your desktop as a GIF, and then you right click and say open with something like, and you open with a web browser like Firefox or Safari or Chrome, and then you'll see your animated. It's not an anime GIF, it's a cinematograph, right? Now, your assignment today, and this is for an in-class assignment, something fun you can do a little different instead of just watching the same kind of tutorials over and over, is for you to make a cinematograph. Now, once again, there's a video on my website that you can follow, and it has all the steps. All the steps that I just followed myself on my little email here, I'm going to take those and drop them on the website right now so you can follow those steps as well. And what I want you to do is go get some video and use that to make a cinematograph. Now, you can get video at this site right here, VidEasy. Of course, you can get any video except the stuff that has a little pro banner on it. And of course, you can search for video, right? Now, the idea is find a video that has one little section that you can isolate and animate. So if it was like a lake with a little boat that was moving around a little bit, that would be perfect. You could freeze frame the lake and just cut a hole for the boat, you know? Or if it's a person whose hand is moving a little bit, or you know, a horse that's standing and his hair is blowing a little bit, his mane, you know, look through here and or whatever video sites you like to visit where you can get free downloads, and try and find something that just has one or two little moving elements. Download that video, open it with Photoshop, and then follow these steps to make a little cinematograph, right? And then when you're done, save it as a GIF file and put it in your Google Drive folder so that we can check them out for the next class, right? So there's two things you can do today. One is to make that cinematograph and save it. And then after you're done with that, you can work on your project 3, which is the abstract project, abstract/avant-garde project, right? So that's what I'm going to let you guys do during class today, and I'll check back in with you at the end of class. Is there anybody who has questions right now about how this works or what I'm asking you guys to do? Okay, it seems like you guys are all pretty clear. So go ahead and find a video and download it. You might even get a couple of videos and download them and try one. If it doesn't work out, you could try the other one. I'll go ahead and post these steps on the class website that I used. And of course, you can watch the video using a different, I'm using the coffee mug and the water, but it's the same principle, right? And then I'll turn my video off, but I'll still be here. So feel free to pop in if you have a question or want to show me something. Now, Luz says, what kind of file do we download the video as? You mean like what format, like MP4 or something like that? I think MP4 will work. Let me check my my downloads and see what kind of file that light beer was, because I just used the default one. Yeah, MP4 will definitely work. So maybe MP4 if you have that option. If not, I think I've done it in the past with .mov files, which of course is Macintosh. It might work with a standard Windows file format. You'll have to give it a shot. It'll probably open most standard formats, but I've only tried it with MOV and MP4, and MP4 is definitely cross-platform. Okay, so give that a shot. Right now, I'm going to go post the steps on the website, and I'll turn my video off. But like I said, if you guys have a question, just pop in. I'll answer it. I'll check back with you guys near the end of the class and see how you're doing. Okay, have fun.